I think anxiety for me started when I was about 10. I remember having to get the bus into town with my grandparents and having to sit and rehearse the request for my bus ticket over and over and over again, and recounting the money, and eventually just kind of freaking out and getting my grandparents to do it for me. And that kind of continued until I was probably about 18 when I managed to actually ask for a bus ticket by myself. For me, anxiety is more than just being nervous, and it's more than just being shy when you're a kid. It is a heightened fight or flight response that just tells you to run at everything, and it can be things that are genuinely frightening or scary, and it can just be random heightened moments of absolute paranoia. It can get bad sometimes to the point where I don't want to leave my house, to the point where I can't even leave my room, or I can't even leave my bed because something is telling me that if I do, something bad is going to happen. There is nothing physical or rational that is actually telling me that. It is just this paranoid voice in your head. I think anxiety summed up is the fear of judgment from others, and you don't want people to think that you are less than, or stupid, or incapable of functioning, which leads you to not want to draw attention to yourself, whether it be in public situations or even around like family members. A lot of my anxiety comes from restaurants and eating out at restaurants, because again, it's that feeling of, oh my god, everyone's watching me, everyone is judging me, everyone thinks I'm weird, everyone thinks that I shouldn't be here, and then it leads you to think, well then I shouldn't be here, I should just go home, I should go back to bed, I should just be a recluse from everything else, because anxiety tells you that that is safer than putting yourself out there. I remember on my 16th birthday we went to a restaurant with my parents, and I had a really bad anxiety attack in the restaurant. I was crying and shaking and just wanted to disappear completely, and that led to me further having a bigger fear of restaurants. Anxiety leads you to do a lot of kind of strange things. It leads to not doing things because you are scared of it. Things like doing your dishes or cleaning your room can just feel like it's too much pressure on you, and it's too much pressure for your brain to cope with, so your brain just tells you that you don't have to do that. And then you end up in an environment that is unhealthy for you, and the cycle kind of continues. Anxiety can lead to impulsive behavior, such as just wanting to change your life and your appearance until it feels better, which leads to things like cutting all your hair off when you might not actually want to do that. It leads to doing irresponsible things with people you don't know, putting yourself in dangerous and triggering situations, just enabling you to feel something that isn't these anxious feelings. I personally went through about 2 years of therapy in different places, on and off. We did talking therapy, which is when you sit one-on-one with a therapist or a psychologist and talk about anything that you feel is right for you to talk about. You guide the conversation, you're in complete control of it, and it is a safe, confidential space for you to get off whatever you have on your chest. I also did CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is where over a period of time you do several exercises and it changes the way that you think about things, it changes your thought process, enabling you to function a little bit better in daily life. I personally found that both forms of therapy worked incredibly well. It's important that you get a therapist or a psychologist who works well with you and who matches your personality and who you feel safe and comfortable speaking to. I also believe that therapy can only take you so far. A lot of people talk about it like it's this fix-all situation, but it's not really. It's the kind of thing where you have to really put effort into. If you just sit and listen to what your therapist is saying and nod along and not put much effort into it, you're not going to get much back out of it. It's also something that even if you put your whole self into improving through therapy, you're still going to have to come out of therapy one day. A huge part of healing and moving on from an anxiety or panic disorder is the way that you feel about yourself and the confidence that you grow in yourself and the way that you are able to manage your daily life in a way that suits you. And that is something that no therapist or psychologist or parent or friend can ever tell you. It has to be something that you figure out in yourself. That means that the only person who is truly going to know what is comfortable for you and what is going to work for you is you yourself. A large part of overcoming my anxiety was getting to know myself better. It was realizing my place in the world that I had created for myself, getting much more in touch with my personality, brackets, close bracket. Another massive part of getting through my anxiety was reconnecting with people who I had disconnected myself from through fear. Sitting down with them and explaining to them, this is how I feel. I don't know why, you don't have to say why, but making sure that they are aware that this is not their fault, this is not your fault, and this is something that is entirely manageable. Because although it doesn't feel like it, anxiety and panic disorders are completely manageable. It is not about cures or getting better. It's kind of more about coping mechanisms and finding comfort and knowing your limits of whether it's social interaction or reclusiveness, and finding that sweet spot between being with people and being alone. There is nothing that is going to get rid of it, but you can change the way that you feel about your anxiety. You can change the way that you cope with it, and you can rise up to it and push yourself and realize that you deserve more than being controlled by your fears, and you deserve more than being completely dominated by irrational thoughts. And anxiety should never get in the way of making your life what you want it to be, because we as humans and as people are worth more than that, and we are able to do more than that. This one time, right, I don't know if you want to include this or not. This is cringe as fuck, right? So at the bottom of the zoology building, there is the labs in the basement. And as you walk through the basement labs, there's these posters on the wall that are like inspirational posters, but they're like in tune to science. And one of them is like, you already have everything that you need inside of you. And that hit me like a fucking boulder. But it was meaning like, you've got cells in your body, but I was like, I've got everything I need, and I fucking live by that. You have everything that you need inside of you to already heal. Everything that you need, any unconditional love that you need, any confidence, all the skills and knowledge that you need for your life, you were given when you were born. You have everything that you need. Like I said, a lot of things that help me are toys that are made for children or toys that are made for people with attention problems. It distracts you from the oncoming attacks or the bad stimuli or the triggers in your head, and allows you to focus on something more physical, something different and something new in your environment. Another thing that really helped me was aromatherapy. There is a lot of controversy around CBD and things, essential oils and things that are holistically not scientifically proven. However, I am very much of the thought that if it helps, it helps. And the way that aromatherapy works is an essential oil or an extract that is put on the skin or near the skin in order for you to smell it and your senses to pick up on it. And the essential oils, they seep into your brainwaves, they make everything okay. The essential oils help your brain calm down and your senses relax, and it invokes a physical response of relaxation and calming. Another thing that really helped me with my anxiety was journaling and mood tracking. It allows you to make sure that you're okay. It's like checking in with yourself. And it allows you to see, possibly identifying more triggers or times in your life where things were harder, and then you can think about why. It also gives you that space to talk about your feelings and just dump out whatever you feel like you need to say without judgment from other people, because you know that nobody else is going to be able to read what you've written, and it creates that safe space for yourself. I feel that you kind of have to look at the silver lining of everything that you have, even an anxiety or panic disorder. I feel like it makes you more grateful for quiet moments, and it makes you more grateful for people who are kinder to you and people who accommodate your disorder. It's not something that is ever going to go away, and it makes you just more compassionate and thoughtful for other people, because you develop this protective sense of never wanting anybody to go through what you go through on a daily basis, because it feels like you are trapped in this thought cycle that is so negative, and you don't want anyone else to go through that. I feel that anxiety disorders entirely shape your personality. They make you scared of everything, but they make you very kind and very patient of other people, because there's a level of understanding that you only really get when you've been through several Paddy is not the right word. When you've been through several temper tantrums and shocks at the age of like 14. I think the most important thing is that living with anxiety is still living, and it's important to realize that nothing is your fault, and that it's a disorder and a disposition that can entirely be coped with and lived with, and it doesn't make you less than just because you are anxious about things. It gives you a different perspective on the world. It makes you see people differently and gives you a chance to show that perspective to other people. Like what I'm doing now.
I need you more.